Under the glowing lights of Brooklyn's Barclays Center, the world watched as two men from opposite sides of the Atlantic stepped into a ring that would test everything they were made of. Leo Santa Cruz, the relentless Mexican-American warrior from California, carried with him a reputation for endless energy, unbreakable pressure, and a heart that refused to yield. Across from him stood Carl Frampton, the pride of Belfast, Northern Ireland, smaller in frame but vast in spirit, a technician who mixed sharp movement with tactical brilliance. This wasn't just a fight, it was a clash of styles, a collision of identities. Santa Cruz, with his tireless offense and volume punching, believed that no one could withstand the storm. Frampton, calm and composed, believed in precision, timing, and heart over chaos. The Barclays Center crowd reflected that duality, waves of Irish flags fluttering beside Mexican colors, two passionate fan bases roaring as if their nation's honor depended on every punch. The energy was electric, the atmosphere thick with tension, and when the opening bell rang, every spectator knew they were about to witness something special, a fight that would echo in the chronicles of boxing for years to come. The opening round began cautiously, a chess match between fire and finesse. Frampton circled the ring, his movement fluid and economical, darting in and out with a sharp jab that immediately found its rhythm. Santa Cruz, taller and busier, began to stalk his opponent, pumping his long jab and throwing quick combinations to test the Irishman's guard. But Frampton's defense was razor-sharp. Subtle head movement, quick pivots, and perfectly timed hooks kept Santa Cruz honest. The early exchanges revealed the contrast in their souls, one fueled by aggression, the other by precision. By the second round, Santa Cruz's volume increased, his pressure unrelenting, but Frampton's counters grew more accurate. In the third, a moment that sent shockwave through the arena. A short, perfectly timed left hook caught Santa Cruz flush. The champion stumbled backward as the crowd erupted. Frampton pounced, pressing his advantage, the Irish fans roaring with belief. Santa Cruz recovered quickly, but for the first time in his career, he looked mortal. The tone had been set. Frampton wasn't just surviving, he was dictating. As the fight entered the fourth and fifth rounds, both men began to settle into their rhythm. Santa Cruz, relentless as ever, attacked the body, seeking to slow the Irishman down. He threw in threes and fours, uppercuts followed by looping hooks, forcing Frampton to fight off the back foot. Yet the challenger's composure never faltered. He caught and shot beautifully, countering each rush with surgical precision, landing the cleaner, sharper shots. Frampton's timing was impeccable. Every time Santa Cruz tried to overwhelm him, the Belfast native found space and struck with accuracy. The crowd roared with every exchange, the rhythm of the fight becoming hypnotic, pressure and precision blending into pure theater. Each round was close, competitive, and emotionally charged. Neither man yielded an inch, neither willing to give the other control. By the end of the fifth, both fighters wore the marks of war. Swollen brows, reddened cheeks, sweat flying with every blow, and yet both smiled through the storm. By the middle rounds, the fight had become a masterclass in adjustments. Santa Cruz, realizing brute pressure alone wouldn't work, began doubling his jab, trying to box from range. But Frampton, ever the tactician, used subtle angles, ducking under wild swings and returning fire with tight combinations. His right hand landed clean again and again, snapping Santa Cruz's head back and drawing cheers from the Irish faithful. Round 6 was breathtaking. Frampton's counters slicing through Santa Cruz's guard, Santa Cruz responding with ferocious volume, both men refusing to break. Every exchange told a story of courage and adaptation. Santa Cruz's relentless engine pushed forward, but Frampton's rhythm disrupted the flow, forcing the champion to miss more than he landed. By now, The atmosphere inside Barclays was electric. Chants of Frampton, Frampton, met by cries of Leo, Leo in a thunderous symphony of nations. The fight had transcended sport. It had become a test of heart, pride, and endurance. As the 7th and 8th rounds arrived, fatigue began to creep in, but neither fighter showed it. Santa Cruz continued to march forward, throwing punches in bunches, forcing exchanges in close quarters. Frampton, reading every motion, countered with precision that bordered on artistry. His defense was fluid, his counterpunching clinical. A sharp right hand in the 7th halted Santa Cruz in his tracks, the crowd gasping at the impact. But Leo, the relentless warrior, smiled through the pain, his pride refusing to bend. The exchanges grew heavier, the pace relentless. Frampton's timing remained immaculate, while Santa Cruz's volume and heart refused to waver. In those moments, the respect between them began to show. Neither man intimidated, both feeding off each other's greatness. It was no longer just a title fight. It was legacy being written in real time. By round 9, both men were deep in the trenches. The fight had become a test of pure willpower. They traded shots at center ring, hooks to the body, uppercuts inside, right hands over the top. Sweat and blood flew with every punch. Santa Cruz's eyes burned with determination. Frampton's face, marked but unbroken, radiated focus. The Irishman's counters grew sharper as he caught and responded with surgical timing, punishing the champion every time he overextended. Yet Santa Cruz never retreated, answering fire with fire, his body attacks thudding with menace. The crowd was on its feet, thousands screaming, living every second. Each punch echoed like a drum beat in the heart of Brooklyn. Frampton's precision and Santa Cruz's pressure created a rhythm of chaos, a balance of beauty and brutality that defined championship boxing at its finest. It was will against will, neither man backing down, neither man breaking. As the championship rounds began, exhaustion loomed, but pride carried them forward. Santa Cruz knew he needed a big finish. He opened the 10th round, throwing relentless combinations, his punches still fast, his spirit unbroken. Frampton absorbed, rolled, and returned fire, landing the sharper, cleaner blows. Then came a defining moment. A looping right hand from Frampton landed flush, momentarily staggering the champion. Santa Cruz grinned, waved him on, and the crowd erupted. It was two fighters speaking the same language, courage. Round 11 was even more dramatic, both men trading flurries, neither willing to yield an inch. Frampton's rhythm never faltered. Santa Cruz's determination never dimmed. Their exchanges had become more than combat. They were acts of mutual respect. Each understood the other's greatness. The noise inside Barclays reached a fever pitch. Even neutral fans knew they were watching a modern classic unfold before their eyes. The 12th and final round arrived with everything still to fight for. There was no more strategy, no more patience, only will. Santa Cruz came out firing, throwing combinations in desperation, determined to turn the tide. Frampton met him head-on, his counters still crisp, his movement still disciplined despite fatigue. They traded bombs in the center of the ring, hooks, crosses, body shots, a blur of leather and pride. The final bell rang, and both men raised their arms in triumph. No arrogance, no disdain, just mutual admiration. When the decision was announced, the crowd held its breath, and then it came. The winner and new WBA featherweight champion of the world, Carl the Jackal Frampton. The arena exploded. Frampton had done it, the first man from Northern Ireland to win world titles in 2 divisions. Santa Cruz, proud even in defeat, nodded in respect, his dignity intact. That night in Brooklyn was more than a fight. It was a masterpiece of skill and courage. It reminded the world that boxing, at its core, is not about hatred or destruction, but about will, respect, and the beauty of two souls daring to give everything they have.